Mao Zedong, a man who rose from a peasant background to become the founding father of the People's Republic of China. To some, he is a visionary who unified a fractured nation, restored dignity after a century of humiliation, and lifted China onto the world stage. To others, he is the architect of suffering, whose policies led to famine, fear, and tens of millions of deaths. Was Mao a savior of the people, or their greatest oppressor? If this video made you see things from a new angle, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Hero or Villain, and share this video. Thanks for watching. The rise of Mao, from revolutionary to leader. Born in 1893 in Hunan province, Mao grew up witnessing China's weakness under foreign domination and internal collapse. He embraced Marxism-Leninism, believing revolution was the only path to save his country. As a founding member of the Chinese Communist Party, Mao rose to prominence during the Long March of 1934 to 1935, a brutal 6,000-mile retreat where only a fraction of his army survived. This moment cemented his reputation as a resilient and determined leader who never surrendered, even in the face of impossible odds. When World War II ended, Mao and his Red Army ultimately triumphed over Chiang Kai-shek's nationalists. In 1949, he stood atop Tiananmen Gate and declared the birth of the People's Republic of China, a turning point in history. The vision, building a new China. Mao's early reforms won him immense popularity. Land redistribution took from wealthy landlords and gave to millions of peasants. For the first time, many poor families held their own land, fueling hope that China was entering a new era of equality. He championed women's rights, banning arranged marriages and promoting gender equality. His famous saying, "Women hold up half the sky," became a rallying cry for social change. But Mao's vision was never modest. He sought not just to modernize China, but to transform its very soul, erasing centuries of tradition and forging a revolutionary new society. The Dark Turn, the Great Leap Forward and Cultural Revolution. In 1958, Mao launched the Great Leap Forward, a campaign to catapult China into industrial greatness. Peasants were ordered into communes, backyard furnaces were built to smelt steel, and agriculture was reorganized under state control. The results were catastrophic. Poor planning, inflated production reports, and forced collectivization triggered one of the worst famines in human history. Between 20 to 45 million people died. Yet Mao pressed forward, believing sacrifice was necessary for progress. Then came the Cultural Revolution in 1966. Mao, fearing rivals within the Communist Party, unleashed China's youth, the Red Guards, to attack old ideas and purge enemies of the revolution. Schools shut down, intellectuals were humiliated, beaten, or killed, and ancient cultural treasures were destroyed. What began as a political movement descended into chaos, paranoia, and nationwide suffering. Mao's global impact, revered and feared. Outside China, Mao became a symbol of revolutionary struggle. His Little Red Book of Quotes spread worldwide, inspiring activists in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Guerrilla fighters and student protesters alike invoked his words as they challenged imperialism and capitalism. But Mao's China also struck fear in others. His support for radical movements and confrontations with both the US and the Soviet Union fueled Cold War tensions. By the early 1970s, however, Mao shocked the world by opening dialogue with America, meeting with President Richard Nixon in 1972. That handshake marked China's re-entry into the global order. The legacy debate, father of a nation or tyrant of his people. Today, Mao's face still gazes down from Tiananmen Gate, his portrait hanging where he once declared China's rebirth. To his supporters, Mao was a unifier, a man who gave China sovereignty, pride, and direction after centuries of decline. Without Mao, they argue, modern China's rise would have been impossible. To his critics, however, Mao's legacy is drenched in blood. His policies caused famine, mass persecution, and cultural destruction. He created a cult of personality so intense that questioning him was a death sentence. Was Mao Zedong the father who saved his people, or the tyrant who sacrificed them for ideology? Did you know? Mao wrote thousands of poems, many of which are still studied in Chinese schools today. The Cultural Revolution shut down China's universities for nearly a decade, creating what is now called a lost generation. Mao swam across the Yangtze River in 1966 at age 72, a publicity stunt meant to show his vitality and rally support. Sketch of the day. A towering figure stands before Tiananmen Gate, his hand raised high in a gesture both commanding and paternal. Below, millions of voices rise in thunderous unison, their banners swaying like waves in a human ocean. The crimson sky behind him bleeds into dusk, the last rays of sun caught in the folds of a giant flag. His silhouette dominates the scene, solid, immovable, yet the shadow he casts stretches unnaturally long, spilling over the cheering masses and creeping toward the horizon, as if history itself cannot escape it. Faces in the crowd blur together, some lifted in admiration, others masked by fear. Above, doves scatter suddenly into the sky, their white wings stark against the red backdrop, a fleeting suggestion of peace swallowed quickly by the gathering dark. The image captures both triumph and foreboding, the paradox of a leader seen as savior and oppressor, architect of dreams and suffering alike. Final thoughts. Mao Zedong remains one of history's most polarizing leaders. To some, he is the father of modern China, who gave his people dignity, strength, and a unified homeland. To others, he is the architect of one of the 20th century's greatest human tragedies. Perhaps the truth is that Mao was both visionary and tyrant, creator and destroyer. And his story forces us to ask, when does the pursuit of revolution cross the line into tyranny? If this video made you see things from a new angle, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Hero or Villain, and share this video. Thanks for watching.